You love your pet. Of course you do. But every single day, you're forced to make a compromise you might not even fully realize you're making. You stand in the pet food aisle or you're scrolling online and you see all these options promising health and convenience, but you've got that nagging feeling, right? That feeling that none of them are quite right. Well, you're not wrong. You're caught in a trap that was set by good intentions. And today, we're going to talk about the way out. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll define this trap that so many loving owners are in. Then, we're going to uncover the true costs, nutritional and financial, of the choices you have right now. After that, we'll introduce the missing piece of technology that changes the entire equation. We'll show you how to take back control right in your own kitchen. And finally, we'll look at the powerful economics behind this and the incredible shift in mindset it makes possible. All right, let's dive right in. The most important thing to know is that your desire to do the absolute best for your animal is real and valid. But the systems that have been built to supposedly serve that desire, they're fundamentally broken. You're trying to make the right choice inside a flawed system, and that leads to a constant, frustrating compromise. Now, to solve a problem this big, you need a totally different kind of thinking. Growlrr, that's pronounced Growlrr, was founded by an engineer whose entire career was spent designing high-precision, FDA-regulated cardiovascular devices. We're talking about devices that have to work perfectly every single time inside a human heart. He brought that exact same demand for rigor, for verifiable precision, to your pet's food bowl. And you know, for the founder, Prasanna, this was deeply personal. He's a vegetarian, but he shares his home with 2 cats, who are obligate carnivores. He understood their biological needs, but every day he was faced with this broken supply chain. For him, the question wasn't just, what should I feed my cats? It was, how can we build an entirely new system that's logical, ethical, and actually makes nutritional sense? So let me ask you, does this sound familiar? This feeling of being stuck? Choosing between options that are wildly expensive, way too complicated, or just nutritionally questionable? That feeling, right there, that is the pet food trap. And this slide really shows you why you feel that way. You're trying to juggle 5 failing legacy systems. You've got dry kibble, sure, it's convenient, but it's nutritionally compromised. Wet food is a step up, but it can be financially punishing. Freeze-dried looks great, but it's expensive and often isn't a complete solution. DIY kits seem like a good idea, but they can introduce new risks. And true balanced home cooking, it's a scientific nightmare for the average person. Every single choice is a major trade-off. Okay, so let's dig into that trade-off because it has a very, very real cost. This isn't just about feeling frustrated. This is about measurable damage. Damage to your pet's biology and, frankly, to your wallet. That convenience that's sold so hard comes with some serious hidden penalties. The science here is, well, it's pretty shocking. Kibble is made using a process called high-heat extrusion. We're talking temperatures over 150 degrees Celsius. Our stochastic models, which are part of a system we call DDoS, show this violent cooking process can destroy up to 80% of the reactive lysine. That's one of the most critical amino acids for your pet. So that protein percentage you read on the bag, that's not what your pet is actually able to use. And if you're wondering where your money is actually going when you buy that bag, take a look at what we call the kibble rupee. For every single rupee you spend, only about 17% of it goes to the actual protein ingredients. A whopping 1/3 goes to branding and marketing. Think about that. You are paying more for the commercials and the fancy packaging than for the actual meat in the food. You can really think of it in 2 ways, and neither one is good. Kibble, with its 40 to 60% starch content, is like metabolic arson for a carnivore's system. It creates enormous metabolic stress. And that premium wet food you feel good about buying, we call that the water tax. It's about 80% moisture. You're paying a huge premium to package and ship water, not nutrition. So if all the old systems are broken, what's the answer? Well, it's not just another bag or can of pet food. The answer is a totally new piece of nutritional infrastructure. It's the one tool that's been missing from the equation, the tool that finally puts the power back in your hands. This is the Growlrr NRC block. NRC stands for Nutrient Required Component. It's a small, 8-gram, cold-pressed block that contains the precise blend of every single essential vitamin and mineral your dog or cat needs. And it's all compliant with the guidelines of the National Research Council, or NRC, of the USA, which is truly the gold standard in animal nutrition science. So how do you get all those delicate nutrients into one tiny block without destroying them? Well, it's all about a really smart cold process we developed called phase partitioning. First, the fat-soluble vitamins, like A and D, are safely sealed inside an animal fat matrix. Next, the water-soluble vitamins, like B vitamins, are buffered separately to protect them, and only then at the very end are the highly absorbable chelated minerals added. This prevents them from oxidizing and destroying all the precious vitamins. So what does all that science get you? Well, the results are pretty incredible. Because the entire process stays below 25 degrees Celsius, it's truly cold-pressed, which preserves over 98% of the nutrient potency. The chelated minerals we use are up to 40% more absorbable than the cheap oxides you'll find in most kibble. And critical nutrients like taurine for cats, they're delivered with pharmaceutical precision every single time. Now, all this precision, all this technology, it's not meant to make your life harder. It's designed to do the exact opposite. It handles all the complex, behind-the-scenes science so that you can have simple, powerful control right in your own kitchen. And this really gets to the heart of the Growlrr philosophy. Healthy animals are incredibly resilient. Our dietary variety stochastic model, we call it Trudeccan, shows that their bodies are built for variation. The goal isn't some kind of clinical lab coat perfection every single day. The goal is just basic consistency with fresh, high-quality ingredients. That's it. And to make it all effortless, the Growlrr app becomes your intelligent co-pilot. You just create a profile for your pet, their name, species, age, weight, lifestyle. The app then calculates their exact nutritional needs and generates a simple daily grocery list of fresh proteins. You can even order them right from the app through quick delivery services. And if you have questions, there's an AI assistant trained on real veterinary materials, ready to give you clear, science-backed answers. So what does this actually look like on, say, a Tuesday night? Let's take a 28-kilo golden retriever, for example. It's this simple. You get some fresh meat, like fowl and beef, maybe add a little fatty fish and an egg. You lightly cook the meat, and then you just crumble in the number of NRC blocks the app tells you to use. That's it. We're talking 30 seconds of assembly. No scales, no spreadsheets, no complex math. Okay, this all sounds amazing, but you're probably thinking, what's this going to cost me? And this is where the logic just becomes undeniable. By escaping that industrial trap, you unlock much smarter economics that lead directly to better long-term health for your pet. Let's take a typical 4-kilogram cat. The all-in daily cost for our Snowleopard protocol is just 98 rupees. Now, let me be really clear. That number includes the cost of the fresh meat you buy locally plus the Growlrr NRC block. The block itself is only 28 rupees. It comes in a blister pack of 10, and you can get it on a monthly or quarterly subscription right from the app. It's just fundamentally more affordable than feeding premium wet food. But let's really zoom out. Let's look at the big picture with our long-term economic stochastic model, which we call SETI. It calculates the 10-year total cost of ownership. When you factor in the hidden vet costs that are so often linked to high-starch, nutrient-poor diets, the story becomes crystal clear. Kibble isn't actually cheap in the long run. The Growlrr system, while it has a higher upfront food cost than kibble, drastically reduces those hidden health bills down the line, making it the most sensible economic choice over your pet's entire lifetime. So, as you can probably tell by now, this is about so much more than just a different kind of pet food. This is about fundamentally changing your role. It's a shift from being a passive consumer to becoming an active, empowered participant in your pet's well-being. The message here is simple. Stop being a pet food consumer, endlessly trying to choose between flawed options from a broken system. Instead, start becoming a nutritional practitioner for your own animal. This is a partnership. We provide the precision, we handle the complex micronutrient science with the NRC block, you provide the love and the fresh, high-quality protein. So we'll just leave you with this one final thought. What would it really mean to give the animal you love a decade of fresh food, optimized nutrition, and true metabolic health? What could a decade of biological sovereignty truly look like for them?